Looks like everybody's on the search right now.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like.
It's always a little more difficult though when there's white caps trying to look for whales.
Not sure what's a wave and what's a whale.
Yeah. So then do you do any bear stuff here? Or is that just another interest? Like,
Yeah, I've done a little bit of work working on some literature with Parks Canada on some of the bear research that's going on. So there's tons of bear research going on in Wilpest National Park in partnership with Parks Canada. So some of that is with the Canadian Wildlife Service and their researcher Nick Lunn, who is collaring polar bears and taking health analysis data. And then there's also things going on with the trail cams that they have set up around all of the research stations inside the park. So that's with Doug Clark at the University of Saskatchewan, and he is looking at how the polar bears behave in Wilpest National Park and how all those research and kind of visitors to the park actually impact their behavior and maybe impact their health. That's one of the interesting projects. So it's on those trail cams that we've actually gotten really good evidence of grizzly bears in the park, which I guess 20 to 30 years ago was pretty unheard of to have grizzlies in this area, and now we're just having more and more experiences with them. And with our trail cams in the park, we've caught them many times around all the research stations, and yeah, pretty interesting. They're not quite sure how to classify them. They know they live there in the summer, but whether or not they live there in the winter, and if there's any dens for grizzlies.
They're generally smaller too, right?
Yeah, they're quite small for grizzlies, and usually they top out at about 700 pounds, which is about the same weight as a female polar bear, which are almost half the size of a male polar bear. So
what about do you know, like a regular grizzly or a coastal brown bear, like what their average?
You know what, that's a good question. I thought that some of the big Alaskan ones, they can actually get up to 900 pounds, and that's pretty much as big as grizzlies get. Definitely polar bears will beat them most competitions, but yeah, the big Kodiaks can get in and around the 900-pound mark.
Yeah, I've been told some like the biggest brown or coastal or grizzly will be close to the same size as a male polar bear. Like,
yeah,
not in height or anything, but in
weight.
Yeah, they're a little more bulky.
Yeah.
What about have you seen that black bear at Lazy Bear?
I haven't. I've seen the pelt. Yeah,
it's huge.
I would love to see a black bear here in Churchill. I know that there's quite a few around the Goose Creek area, but yeah, the black bears here in Churchill especially seem to be pretty small too.
Okay, yeah, because the one that they have there is ginormous.
Yeah, it's a huge pelt that they have there, and I'm curious if it came from the Churchill area, because yeah, the ones here tend to be pretty small, hitting around the 300-pound mark. So. Bit of a snack for a polar bear, I think, when it comes to being out in nature, but they're definitely around. And yeah, so those are the three bears that we've got in this area, which is quite unique. It's one of the only areas where you can actually see all three types of bear.
Mm-hmm. Not a lot of places, that have, maybe one type or possibly two. I guess it's more common for black bear and grizzly, but
exactly.
Yeah.
It's definitely makes one of the things that makes Churchill unique. Mm-hmm. There's a whole list of them, but yeah, the fact that we've got all three is pretty spectacular. Oh, here's some whales right behind us.
Oh, group just showed up.
Yeah, we still got, looks like one underneath the boat, maybe? Maybe he just turned and left, and the other ones kind of checked us out, and then, oh, there they come.
Clear water now too.
Yeah, it's looking really nice.
Looks like one underneath him.
Yeah.
Oh, looks like they may be peeling off. There's still one underneath us. Well, there we go. Got a few snapshots. Yeah, looks like there's a handful of them that were under the boat. Scrolling through the message board, I see Jane's asking what I've been up to since last season. The biggest thing, I guess, was just bear season. I stuck around last winter again for the bears and helped out PBI. Got to spend a lot of time out at lodge, out in the buggy land they call it. So lots of opportunity to see bears and meet a pile of great people. That was a fun and busy 2 months. I thought beluga season goes by fast, but you can double that when it comes to bear season. It's about the same amount of time, but it's just so busy that the time flies by. And then besides that, it was a slow winter. I did a lot of schoolwork and stuff actually at home this winter. So I kind of focused on that, and then I got to spend another month up north in Alberta at camp. I did that again this spring, and then I guess also last fall is at moose camp, so maybe it wasn't so
Sounds like you had a pretty
yeah,
busy,
it was fairly busy, but
seasons.
yeah, no, spending the time at the moose camp was about a month. We lived out on the North Knife River outside of Churchill. That was pretty cool.
That sounds pretty great.
Lots of fishing, lots of grayling and brook trout and all that good stuff, and then lots of wildlife. I got to hang out every day with a bunch of marten in our camp and some short-tailed weasels, and we had even a wolverine across the river and a few wolves as well.
Very cool. I would love to see a wolverine. That's one I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, they're pretty intense.
They're very intense.
Yeah,
I've heard many stories of them getting angry at polar bears and them scaring off animals much, much larger than them.
Yeah, I don't think anything really wants to tangle with those guys.
I think they are truly the most fearless animal.
Yeah. Yeah, we have badgers at home, and they're freaky, but
yeah, they're pretty.
The wolverines are even, I don't know, they're just so tough is the thing, and they're really fast too. I didn't realize how quick they were, but we had a big hillside going into the trees off the river, and their eyes are like, they have really keen eyesight.
Yeah.
So we were about 100 yards from where the wolverine would come out, and I'd try to sneak up behind the bushes on the opposite side of the river, and it could spot me every time. Within seconds of me trying to creep up on it, and then it'd be
just
flying
gone
up that bank. And
yeah.
You could see little openings in the trees, and then you'd spot it, and then it'd be up another 50 feet in a few seconds. They're crazy little creatures. lots of stories of guys just out on the trap lines and stuff that
Tons, yeah.
wolverines ripping through their sheds and cabins and
Yeah.
looks like we're getting piles of snapshots coming in. We've been lucky with the visibility lately. Like right now it looks pretty good.
It's looking like nice water over here.
And lots more pictures this year of, I think we've had 5, 6, 7 whales in a snapshot at one time.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. So like I've mentioned before many times, that also with the Beluga Bits program, we're looking for kind of the social structure and behavior of the whales. So those shots where we have multiple whales can help researchers learn a little more about that. There's a big group, they're all swimming away from us, but I'm sure they know we're here if they want to come over.
Heading right to some snorkelers in the water, it looks like.
Yeah. So yeah, I mentioned at the beginning, but just in case people got here a few minutes late, Stefan's super pumped about all the snapshots. Very happy. He's been going through the message board and checking them out, and he's really pleased. Wanted to make sure I relay that to you guys and let you know he says thanks and really appreciates it. Sounds like we've already got some good ones for the few that he's gone through. He said there's some very good images there. I've even noticed different things since after talking with him, like the older whales, they'll get a upward curvature to their pectorals, and so we've been noticing that in the photos as well, and they kind of think maybe it's mainly males that get that as they age, but it's like a real
interesting, yeah.
Aggressive bend in their pectoral fin. They're not sure why it happens, if it's to help streamline them in the water, or they don't know what the reason is, but they say the bones actually will grow and curve upwards.
Wow.
And it's rigid. He said if you were to grab onto one, it'd be like grabbing a handle.
Oh,
yeah.
That'd be interesting. That's fascinating. I didn't know that.
But no, I have been, since he's kind of told me about it, I've noticed a few shots that we've had where I can clearly see those curved pectorals. Actually, if that was paired, I guess, with a belly shot, and then we can determine the sex, then that would help them to find out if it's more common in males or females.
Definitely would.
There they go, they're squawking away now.
Whew, yeah, no kidding. Couple loud ones.
Right now we're near Cockles Point. So far, I guess, seems like the place to be. We got another group just approached the boat. They're swimming by. We'll see if they flip around.
Oh.
It's a big one.
Big one made a turn just to check us out, hey?
Here he comes.
Oh, this water clarity is just excellent.
Here they go.
Good pot of about 6 there, at
Yeah.
least. 7 maybe?
Now they might be circling back.
Some really white ones too.
Mm. Yeah, there's one that's starting to turn, it looks like. They'll lose their color and turn white around 6 years, I think, for females, and then 9 for males. Is when they'll get that white color, go from the slate gray or pale gray to white. And the word beluga actually comes from a Russian word, I think, bielo. It's probably horrible pronunciation. But yeah, it's where it's derived from, and it means white whale. Yeah, it looks like we're getting good photos coming in. Looks like the bald eagle might be sitting out on Cockles Point on that wood. That little frame, whatever that structure is out there.
Oh, yes, I see that. Yeah, I would say that's probably a bald eagle.
Oh, got a few whales underneath again. These ones kind of just keep circling around and coming back. I didn't know bald eagles is at 5 years before they get their white feathers on their head.
Really? I didn't know that either. I knew that the juveniles didn't have them. I didn't know it took that long.
I think it's 5 years, I believe, which, yeah, that seems pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It's a long time. Yeah, have you guys seen lots of fox this year? Because they always say if there's lots of bald eagles and stuff, and lots of hawks and.
You know, I've seen quite a few red fox actually, but I have yet to see an Arctic fox this summer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And they're actually. There we go. Oh, big notch in the dorsal ridge.
Yeah. Very distinct.
The dorsal ridge on the beluga whales, they don't have a dorsal fin, but the ridge protrudes 2 to 3 centimeters off their back and runs about 50 centimeters lengthwise. The fat deposits in their belly, the kind of that run parallel with their abdomen, kind of help to do what a dorsal fin, say on orca would, like keeps them balanced and at a level plane and helps them maneuver through the water, which is kind of neat.
That's very neat.
Yeah, similar to the narwhal, they think the reason they don't have the dorsal fin, or the dorsal fin, is because they live amongst the ice. So
yeah.
If you can picture a killer whale trying to swim through the ice, it might not work so well with it. There we go. There's a bunch of them now.
Coming right in. Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's a good adaptation. I know these belugas, some of their scars are just from them bumping to make breathing holes in the ice.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I can't remember the thickness they say they're able to break through. Actually, was looking to the bowhead whale, how much ice they can smash through in order to create a breathing hole. They're a lot bigger, but can't remember how many inches it was. It's quite a bit.
Well, bowhead are quite large, so I'm not that surprised.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see one.
I have not seen one.
Flowed through. Yeah, no, I'd love to see it here, but even to see all of a sudden this ice shatter and a bowhead whale come through would be pretty intense. Just seen Pan post the bald eagles. Adult plumage develops when a bald eagle becomes sexually mature, and yeah, it is 5 years to get the white head and tail feathers. And it's a gradual turn up until that point. Oh, and the beak turns from black to yellow too. I didn't know that. And the eyes from brown to pale yellow. Ah, that's cool. Their eyes and beak change color too on the bald eagles.
Really?
Interesting. Do you guys know the range at all of, like, probably not the grizzlies, but the black bears in the area? Because I'd imagine they won't mingle around anywhere there's polar bears. That'd just be trouble for them, I'm sure.
You know, I'm not sure. I know that they definitely have been seen all over. I've even heard of them being actually seen at Sloop Cove. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, and definitely throughout the park, we've got trail cam footage of them in all three of the main ecosystem zones of the park. So that's the coastal, the peatlands, and the taiga forest. They're a little bit more prevalent in the forested areas and sort of out of that polar bear range, but they'll definitely come out on. We've definitely seen them out on the coast areas where polar bears are known to be around. I've even heard of bears out here by on the road to Cape Mary. Actually, somebody saw a polar bear chasing a black
Yeah,
bear.
see, that's
So
exactly what I think would
yeah,
happen. You wouldn't think they could last long if there's a bunch of polar bears kicking around,
no,
especially in the fall when the black bear is fat, getting ready for hibernation. You think that'd be a perfect meal for a polar bear?
yeah, and there's lots. There's been some really good research and reporting of all of what the polar bears will actually do, because the story used to be that they would fast all summer, but now we've definitely seen that their diet is actually quite diverse throughout the summer seasons, and they might not be as actively hunting as they are on the ice, and they don't have their favorite food, but they'll definitely scavenge and.
We watched them eat lots of kelp.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why they eat it. If it's just to satisfy their hunger while they're waiting to get out on the ice, or if there's some sort of nutritional value, like something they're getting out of it.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Definitely lots of animals will eat that stuff for the salts and the minerals that are in it there, so maybe that's what they're after.
It's weird too, because they'll pick certain areas and then you could watch them pounce and break through it, and then they'll dig up a big patch and then they start eating, and then they'll move to another one. So
wow.
Also, if maybe they're sniffing out little lemmings or mice or things. Oh, those whales are back here again.
Here they come.
Surface right behind the boat. Yeah, where we go in northern Alberta, I talked to the conservation there, and it's somewhere around 1 bear per kilometer.
Okay.
Black bears. So there's piles of them.
That's pretty heavy population concentration.
Like as a result, though, then the caribou, they have the woodland caribou there, moose, and the deer populations suffer quite a bit with that many bears.
Oh, I see.
They did a census in one zone, and we're expecting to find 3,000 through a survey, and they found 300 moose.
Wow.
And then in another area, they only found it was 30 or 50 moose. So they're definitely having an impact on those populations. Mainly, I think, in the spring, when the animals are giving birth, the bears are able to sniff it out, right? And then they'll just come and the calves are kind of easy prey.
Yeah, that's typically how they do it. And even a calf is quite large for a good sized meal for a bear.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like especially a moose.
Yeah, especially a moose.
Oh, look at that. One or two behind the boat. Kind of spotted there.
quite a few trailing us now.
Is there? Oh yeah. Sidetracked here, just on the tablet.
Looks like there's a calf here too.
Oh, there is right behind the boat, a little one, eh? I'm shocked the calves still, when they're born, they're about 5 feet long and 132 pounds. It's pretty big.
That's still pretty big, yeah.
Like it looks like now they'd maybe be that big, but by now they should have grown a decent amount. It's just hard to tell.
When they're next to a 9-foot whale, it's pretty distorting for the
Yeah.
size.
Swimming up on my side, juvenile. There's still one down there somewhere. I keep spotting him. Comes up just enough to see him and then he goes back down.